What is the right governance structure for this super powerful technology?
Well, we have representative democracy that I think can be improved by this. Like, I don't think democracy survives this technology in its current form. It will either improve or it will end. I don't see anything else. Like yesterday,
What does end mean here? A benign dictatorship, driven by an AI overlord?
yeah, like yesterday there was a announcement of an app called Hume, which had emotionally intelligent speech, and it can understand your emotions and talk with emotion. You and I have discussed this.
Yes,
You know where that's going,
it's
right?
very
Like
powerful.
speech, it's incredibly powerful, and governments have a tendency. I mean, the official government is,
But say
yeah,
say it
yeah.
here. It's important for you to state what it means, because we've discussed it, but help people here be ready for this.
Democracy is all about representation, and you see the questions of deepfakes and things. Speech is one of the most impactful elements there, but now you can't believe anything you see, hear, everything. So one path that we have is a 1984 on steroids, panoptica,
Hmm.
where life is gamified and you listen to whatever the government says and they're incredibly convincing and you're happy. And you've always been happy and you've always been at war with Eurasia, you know? Propaganda on steroids. The other part that you have is things like citizen assemblies, consultative democracy, the ability to take, right now, you can take any of the bills in Congress and completely deconstruct them and find what the motivations are. You know, you can check laws against the Constitution in a seconds. This is an incredibly powerful, empowering technology from a democratic perspective. So I see two routes, unfortunately, because I think that once the right thing goes, it goes really fast. Centralized government control increasing because the governments want to protect themselves as an organization. And, every party says the other party is crap. We've seen the increasing polarization in America already. And, fundamentally, come on, you can do better than those two leaders that are currently competing. I'm saying this is
Yes.
clearly our system is sclerotic across this. Like, democracy is the worst of all systems except for everyone else. We can have a better democracy where it's actually representative and empowers the people. Or we will have the end of democracy where it is a 1984 panopticon, in my opinion, because the momentum will go then. Of course, you will start using this technology. You're already seeing it being used, but not at scale and not intelligently yet, which is scary.
I think we finally have the technology for a direct democracy versus a representative democracy, right? Where I can have my desires directly represented on any specific law. But I think the point you've made before is that speech, um, if you look back to everybody from Hitler to some of the most persuasive politicians, um, is is a powerful tool, and AI can become the most persuasive speaker out there.
It can take anyone's speech and make it far more persuasive. Like, I think my voice is a bit whiny. I can remove the whine. I can go in a very polished British accent and other things like that, right? Must fight them on the hills and the harriers and whatever. Public speaking makes a big difference. Someone took Hitler's speeches and put them through an AI and took them into English. Because when we're not in the German context and we listen to them, it sounds like he's shouting, like, what are this crazy thing? You hear him in English, it is very different in his own voice. Just like someone took Javier Milei's one in the United Nations and put him into English again. He sounds a bit shouty, but then he sounds very reasonable when it's in English. And you can take the phenomes of Obama's best speech and a bit of Trumpianism and a bit of Churchill, and you'll have full modulation wave control over all of this. People are already using this technology that everyone should have a passcode with their loved ones because people are getting calls from their mother saying, help, I'm in an emergency, I need to send money right now. And you cannot tell it, and it pulls at the emotional strings. And if you look at something like US radio, and one side of the political divide has taken that over, imagine if you're hearing optimized speech every single day. That will have a huge impact, and then they control the visuals, and they control the other things. We're not set up for defenses. Yeah.
If it's optimized speech for you,
Yeah.
specifically for you, right? For the kids you have, the age group they have, where you live, your historical background, and so forth, and N of one persuasive speech coming at you, the brain is not set up for defenses.
We're not. And, we take this as an example of the YouTube algorithm. Like YouTube as an organization is not an evil organization, but it's an organization optimized for engagement, which optimized for more extreme content. So there's some dark places in YouTube, which is then optimized for ISIS. So ISIS videos spread viral. I don't know, sometimes viral is good, sometimes viral is bad. That one was bad because it was extreme and they didn't understand why. And if you look at it, two of our largest generative AI companies are Google and Meta. And their business is advertising. Their business is manipulation, and they are both amoral companies. Because why would you expect a company to have morality? Our governments are also amoral. And again, you can view these things as slow, dumb AIs, so you can see the way they will optimize unless we do something about it. And they will have full control. Like, again, you put on your Vision Pro headset with your spatial audio. That is full sensory control. Not full, but you know what I mean. A level that we've never seen.
Full immersion.
Full immersion. And so we have to be aware of this. And there's obviously other tools that can be used, like in the wake of the Arab Spring, governments targeted everyone that was on social media. We can do that on, again, a hyper-personalized basis. Like, we need to set some defaults and standards here to protect democracy. But again, why democracy? We're not really trying to protect democracy. Again, people have different definitions of that. What we're trying to protect is individual liberty, freedom, and agency. Education should be about enhancing the education of every child. It's not. Healthcare is sick care. Our government should uplift us, but how many people believe our governments do that rather than put us down? Because they couldn't encapsulate and cater to the brilliance of each individual. Because they didn't have the tools until now. So that's why I said, which way, modern man?
Yes, which way?
Infinite agency or massive control? These are the two ways. Do we control the technology, or do these organizations control the technology that controls us?
When we were on the stage at the Abundance Summit, we talked about a future of digital superintelligence, right? And a future in which we've got AI 1 billion times more capable than a human, which, looking at it just from a ratio of neurons, is the ratio of a hamster to a human. Do you believe that someday we could have a benign super intelligence that is supporting humanity?
Yes, and I believe that it should be a collective intelligence that is made up of amplified human intelligence is amplifying all of us, pilots that contain our collective knowledge and culture and the best of us, and data sets that are built from helping and augmenting us, versus a collected intelligence, an AGI, that is top-down and designed to effectively control us. Again, if you look at OpenAI's statements on the road to AGI, they say, this technology will end democracy, end capitalism, and maybe kill us all. I don't like that.
I remember seeing that. You texted me, you said, read this. Does this sound the same as it does to me?
Yeah, so what I'd prefer instead is for this to be distributed. Like, if you have data sets from nations that are built on enhancing the capability of the nation, that reflect the local cultures, and you push for data transparency on models, which I believe we must have, especially language models, then you're more likely to have a positive thing. And again, the human collective can achieve anything from splitting the atom to going to space, if we put our minds to it. But we have lacked in coordination mechanisms. They've not been good enough. So if you create the human colossus and every single person has an AI that's just looking out for them to enhance their potential and then coordination AIs, that is a far more positive view of the future. And that is the AGI. That is a general intelligence. That's the hive mind general intelligence, not a Borg style hive mind, but one that's really thinking, again, every child should achieve their potential, versus this embodied concept of an AGI that's a very Western concept. And you see that as well, like, we look at the Japanese concept of a robot. The robot is your equal and your helper. You look at the Western concept of the robot, it's Terminator and Skynet and all of that. And again, I think this is, again, where cultural norms become very interesting. And what do we want to build? Do we want to build AI God? Or do we want to build that AI helper that helps us and we help it,